Welcome to the Dark Horse Chess Channel. Today's game is between Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen. Alright, the game began. d4, knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, bishop to b4. This is a Nimzo Indian defense. And here white played f3. This is a K-Mach variation. Here white is trying to dominate the center with the following e4. Black needs to challenge white's pawn center by pushing these pawns. And black played d5, a3, bishop to e7, e4, d takes e4, f takes e4, and here black played e5. Most common moves here is to go d5 and knight to f3. If white takes the pawn, black responds queen takes queen, knight takes queen, knight takes e4, knight to f3, black castles, and here black has the advantage. White's pawn on e5 is isolated, and white is one move away from castling. Now let's go back to white's 8th move. White played d5, black responded bishop to c5, white played bishop to g5, black castled, knight to f3, and then bishop to g4. In this position, both knights are pinned. The black bishop on c5 is preventing the white king from castling kingside. White is probably going to have to castle long, and this should set up some good attacking opportunities for both sides. h3 was played, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, knight on b to d7, white castled long, black played bishop to d4, white moved knight back to e2, attacking the bishop, and black played c5. If white plays d takes c6, black responds by b takes c6, knight takes d4, e takes d4, rook takes d4, and after queen to b6, the white rook is under attack, and there's an open file to the white king. Here white is forced to move his rook back to d2. This allows the knight to jump in at c5, threatening a fork on b3. There's also two attackers on a weak e4 pawn. Black has a nice advantage here. Let's go back to white's 15th move. White played g4, black responded by a5. White moved the king to b1, and black played rook to a6. Black is looking to move the rook to b6 with an attack against the white king. White can take the bishop on d4, but that would lead to a powerful pass pawn on d4. White played knight to g3. This knight has some beautiful squares to jump to. Black responded by playing g6. White played h4, launching a pawn storm against the black king. And black responded by playing a4. In this position, the engine gives white a 1.5 point advantage. White is threatening to open up the h-file with h5. White's dark squared bishop is very powerful, since black's dark square bishop cannot get back to defend these squares. Black's attack is one-dimensional. Black's attack is all focused on b2. White can defend b2 with both rooks, moving the bishop back with the queen, and also sacrificing exchange and removing the powerful bishop at d4. White has a big advantage here. On white's 19th move, white played rook to h2. This protects b2 and allows the other rook to double up later with an attack down the h-file. Black could try moves like rook to b6, and then move rook to b3, attacking the queen, and then bringing the queen in behind it with an attack against b2. But this does not work, because then white can just block with the rook on d3, and the rook will have to exchange or retreat. On black's 19th move, black played queen to a5. White played bishop to d2, attacking the queen. The queen retreated to c7, and white played g5. g5 attacks the knight and also allows white's light-squared bishop to get into the game. Black responded by playing knight to e8. The engine gives white a 1.5 point advantage here. White played h5, attempting to open up the H file for the rook. Black responded by playing rook to b6, attacking b2. White moved the bishop back to c1, defending b2. And black played rook to b3, attacking the queen. Here white chose not to block with the rook, but white played the best move, queen to g4. The engine gives white a 2.65 point advantage. Black played knight to b6, bishop to e2, and black played knight to d6. Black wants to win this c4 pawn and continue the attack on b2. Black's attack is too slow and there aren't enough attackers to back it up. Currently there are 2 attackers on b2. White has 2 defenders. If black goes knight takes c4, bishop takes c4, knight takes c4, black will have a 3rd attacker on b2. However, since his bishop is not here anymore, white has 3 defenders on b2. And white can always move his queen back and get a 4th defender on b2, or move the knight back and take the bishop at d4. The following is a historic sequence of moves where white will have a 4 or more point advantage for the next 12 full moves. In the game, white played rook on d to h1, which was a good move but not the best move. The best move was h takes g6. And after f takes g6, white plays rook on d to h1, attacking the h7 square. Black defends by playing rook to f7, but this allows queen to e6. The rook is pinned. These rooks can come down. The best move for black is just to run and play king to f8, but this allows knight to f5. If black takes the knight, white pushes the pawn g6. Black cannot take the pawn because the rooks will come down for checkmate. So here the best move for black is to play queen to e7 and allow white to take the rook. And after queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, white has a 15-point advantage. Game over. Returning to white's 26th move, white played rook on d to h1, and black played bishop takes b2. This is a desperation sacrifice. If black does nothing, white plays h takes g6 and obtains a winning position as previously analyzed. So here, white responded, bishop takes b2. The bishop on b2 is now pinned. Black played knight takes c4, bishop takes c4, and then knight takes c4. Black wants to get the queen to b6 and get 3 attackers on b2, and also knight takes a3 check is a possibility since bishop on b2 is pinned. However, the pawn on b7 is preventing the other rook from coming over here and attacking the king. The engine gives white a 7.5 point advantage. Here white played h takes g6, which was the best move. Black played queen to b6. And here white has an 8.33 point advantage. White played g7, which was the best move. And black played rook to d8. And here white has a 8.5 point advantage. And white played queen to h4, which is only slightly behind the best move, queen to h3. White has a mate in 1 threat, so black is forced to play rook takes bishop. The only move for white is go king to a1, and here black has no more checks. So black has to play rook takes rook. White plays rook takes rook. After queen to g6, white is maintaining a 9-point lead. White played knight to f5. Black responded rook to a8, and here white has a 10-point lead. White played queen to g4. Queen to b6, white is still a 9-point lead, and white played queen to h3. And after queen to g6, white has a 13-point lead. The most impressive win from this position is to go queen to f1, attacking the knight. Black responds by going b5, and white has this beautiful move, rook takes h7. Black is forced to go queen takes h7, knight to h6 check, king takes g7, queen to f7 check, king to h8, queen takes rook check, king to g7, queen to f7 check, king to h8. Queen to f8 check, and then checkmate. White did not play queen to f1. White played d6. d6 wins the black knight but gives black counterplay. Black played knight takes pawn, knight takes knight, rook to d8. The knight went back to c4, and after queen takes e4, the position is exactly equal. In this position, white's king is exposed. Black can perpetual check white and possibly checkmate the white king, since the black rook has an open file to range into black's position. Black has 6 pawns, while white has a knight and 3 pawns. All but one of black's pawns are connected, while all of white's pawns are isolated. This is a win or draw for black. Without a major blunder by black, white has slim winning chances. White played queen to h5, black played rook to d3. White went rook to h4, attacking the queen. Black has to keep the queen on this diagonal because white has checkmate in 1. Black played queen to f5. White moved the queen back to e2, and black played b5, attacking the knight. In just 6 moves, white has gone from a 13-point advantage to a 3.5-point disadvantage. Here, white played knight to d2. The best move for black was to go rook takes a3 check, king to b2, rook to g3, queen to e4, trying to exchange queens, a3 check, king to a1, and rook takes g5, and black has a 3.5-point lead. Let's go back to black's 43rd move. Black played queen takes g5, offering an exchange of rooks. White played queen takes rook. Black played queen takes rook. White played knight to e4. Black played king takes g7, queen to f3, and black played queen to f4, offering to exchange queens. If white exchanges queens, the white knight is going to have trouble stopping these 2 pawns backed up by the black king. The white king is going to have to come over, but when that does, black can push the b pawn, and after a takes b4, the a pawn will queen. The h pawn comes down, and knight comes over. The white king starts to come over and help out. The h pawn comes down. And now black pushes the b pawn, and now the 8 pawn queens for checkmate. Let's go back to white's 47th move. White did not exchange queens. White played queen to d2 check. Black played king to f8, king to b2. Black pushed the h pawn, knight to d2, h4, king to c2, b4, a takes b4, c takes b4. Here black has 5 passed pawns with 4 of them connected. White cannot stop them all. White went queen to a8 check, king to g7, and white wins one of the pawns back, but black pushes the h pawn. White went queen to b3, h2, queen to d5, and here black blocked by playing e4. White went queen to h5, trying to stop the h pawn, but white played e3. Knight to f3, e2, king to b3, f6, knight to e1, queen to g3 check, king to a4, queen to g1, queen takes e2, and queen to a7 check. After king takes b4, white pushes down for 2 queens. Game over. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.